tragic accident. Like tragic accidents just happen all the time in Carroll County. I'm just saying. It's a very, very unlucky place to live. They dropped the charges because it was accidental. You don't accidentally run over somebody and back up and try to do it again. Shh. Let's start from the beginning as investigative reporters, right? So you would ask the questions who, what, where, when, and why. Should be easy, right? Of course it is. Yes, I know, you're innocent until proven guilty, but what good does that do you if you are not alive?
Well, hello, my silky friends. I even got a sign that says hello, if you can read it. I'm not sure. All right. I know this is a very, very awkward time of the day, and I wanted to do this as a video, but I just don't have time to edit it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in here. Hold on just a second. And we are talking about John Paul Miller. Now, this is a brand new case. It's starting to get some traction, for which I'm very, very excited. I've seen a few of the bigger creators do this and are touching on this subject. So, yeah, there is also now some Facebook groups for Micah Miller. That's M-I-C-A, Micah Miller. All right, so let's start with what happened this past Sunday. Okay.
I'm going to make an announcement, and after the announcement, I'm going to ask that you leave church quietly and don't talk about the announcement here in the building, please, if you can, so y'all can stand to your feet. Before I make the announcement, I also want to say that my request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give for the next, little bit, because I don't want to I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks, I don't know. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away, and it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina, and we're going to have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m., and so it's all I can, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now, so y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And she wasn't, y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her. And so I'm sure there'll be more details to come. But
yeah, so that was the announcement on the Sunday sermon. I found it a little odd. I really found it odd, though, when I found out that he had preached the whole sermon for the day, acting normal, cracking some jokes, that kind of stuff. So, when I started looking at this, and Something to Say is the one that sent me the original stuff on there, and I was horrified. Let me say hello, Daniel Berry. How are you doing? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, too. Hi, Watha. So, look. The more I started digging, and I talked about this last night, the more I started digging, the madder I got. All right? The more upset I got about this situation, about this church, about this pastor, and y'all, if you want to go back and, see my rant, that's last night. Hello, Yo Leo. Good to see you. All right. Hi, Watha. Self-induced. After the divorce papers were served, yeah. Oh, but it gets so much worse. I thought it got I thought it got bad yesterday. I'm gonna try to keep this live not too long, but I do have a lot of stuff. So, and there is a very important event coming up tomorrow, so I wanted to let y'all know about that. I wanted so bad to go to South Carolina tomorrow, but I promised my daughter, like I pinky promised her I would do something specific with her tomorrow, and so I don't break my promises. So anyway, I'm not going to be able to go, but they are going to be happening. Look at y'all know how Fuzz likes to fly on me. Y'all know that sorry. My goodness. Yeah, so there's a big event, and I will let you know there's going to be a Facebook Live, and I'm going to show you that, okay, at the end of this. But let me show you another video, okay, that I came across. And this one, I believe, is on TikTok. And I want to give a shout out to the person that put this on here. Now, this is a compilation. All right, this is going to kind of give you some background into the character. But we're going to read a lot. We're going to see a lot about John Paul Miller and the church. It's Solid Rock Church at Market Commons, I believe, is where it's at in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And so someone took a compilation of kind of misogynistic stuff that John Paul says from the pulpit, okay? So take a look at this.
Wonderful trip, amazing trip, and she came back with the idea to start a school in Africa. And 6 weeks ago, she goes in the hospital, gets out, and just leaves. Just completely leaves me, leaves everything, drains the bank account, and goes. And guess what? While you're talking bad about me out there, I'm building a school in Africa for over 100 kids to be able to be fed. I'm just doing that. It's always about what I'm preaching about. God is so good to do that every single time. One day I'm going to preach about getting rich, strong, healthy, and finding a hot wife that loves Jesus. That's what I'm going to do. Weird. There's a really weird idea that a lot of women have. It's so.
Did y'all hear that? He's going to pray for, God to send him a hot wife who loves Jesus. Like he doesn't already have one. But, okay, let's keep going.
Weird that women have this. Christian women think, well, I need somebody to talk to about these people that hurt me. I need somebody to talk to. Oh, you just want to talk about somebody else. That's a demon, actually, right there. When my wife went in the hospital, I looked at her phone, and I counted over the past 2 years, 18 people who would text her and said, if you ever want to talk about your husband, you can talk to me and say anything, and I'll keep it confidential. Well, if you could go back in time, you would have said this. Or if I see them again, I'm going to say that. And it starts festering and gets bigger and bigger. By the time you're done, you want to shoot them with a bazooka, right? And all they said was, are those, did you intentionally wear those shoes with that dress? Oh, get rid of it!
What? Talking about shooting someone with a bazooka. I don't know about y'all, but I don't think my pastor would have ever said that. Hello, Pam Friedman. How are you? Yeah, so you can already see that, this is how he spun it when they separated. Now we're going to go through a timeline again. This has been in the works for a long time, and you're going to see a little bit of, you're going to see some controversy. Another pastor saying, no, their marriage was good up until, this past spring. Clearly it wasn't. All right. And here is the thing. If it hadn't been for the people in the community and, any kind of social media, any kind, and people standing up there that knew this couple and knew Micah Miller, likely they would just be going through, the regular funeral service. And then John Paul would be out looking for a hot wife. Oh, but wait. He didn't even wait a week. He didn't even wait till the funeral to already be seen out on the town. Check this out. All right. Now, this picture on the left, I showed this last night. This is his wife, Mica. Absolutely gorgeous. Yes, Hiawatha, he is under investigation now. He absolutely is. All right. But here's some things. Check this out. Now, this, I showed you some pictures last night of them out in the parking lot, in the car, and in the restaurant. But look at this. Look at this. Look at the expression on his face. Especially the second picture over here. I mean, does that look like somebody who's grieving? They look like they're having a really good time. The date must be going well, right? Your wife, sir, is not even in the ground yet. But let's go on. You can already see. I'm going to try to keep it down, but I am infuriated. Infuriated. All right, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Now, Reddit is sometimes a compost. There are a lot of good things on Reddit, okay? And this is where some of this is coming from. And I'm going to read it out as much as I can, but y'all know there are some words that I absolutely cannot say. All right. Even though this case is new, there is so much information coming out. I will try my best to keep things on topic and not confusing. I urge you to read until the end. It's going to end up being a huge case. There are a couple of deaths involved, but we are mostly and most recently we are here for Micah Miller. All right. So we have Micah Miller, her husband, John Paul Miller, and the father of John Paul, who is Wayne Miller. Oh, yes, and he has a very interesting past. If you didn't see the live last night, yeah. When Micah was 14 years old, she lived in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and started attending youth group at Solid Rock Church. It was there that 28-year-old JP, 28, 14. Big difference. At that age, anyway, okay? It was then that 28-year-old JP started grooming her while he was married to his wife, who he shares 5 children with. His charges when he was married to her. 1, knowingly damaged property. That's 2 times, not just once. 2, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. 3, possession of a liquor by a minor twice. Possession of consumed liquor by a minor. Possession of cannabis. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. 2.5 grams. The same night as the minors, okay? So he was partying with minors, okay? Contributing to the delinquency of a child. Domestic battery. Bodily harm. Domestic battery. Physical contact. Assault of a high and aggravated nature twice, and the 10th one is being on premises after warning or refusing to leave. Well, this guy's a winner, isn't he? Jeez. Okay. The two got married when Micah was 23 and JP was 37. JP is the owner of the Solid Rock Church, and from local reviews, ran off a lot of people. He had misogynistic views, which we did see in that video, would verbally attack people, and everyone feared for Micah. He verbally, financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, and, yes, I can't say that word, assaulted her throughout their marriage. If she wanted to leave, he would have her committed to the mental hospital. What? He openly talked about her struggles during his sermons, as did she. Well, I wonder why she's having mental struggles, okay? I'm just saying. JP failed to mention he was the reason for her mental struggles. Not surprising. He would emotionally torture her, make her watch him have relations with other women in front of her. Now, this has not been vetted. Remember, this is Reddit. This is allegedly. Slash her tires, but now we know that is true from, if you were on the live last night, from a member of the congregation who said that was very much true. If you left the church and he would call and call and call, call you, harass you at work, and if you didn't answer the phone, he would show up at your job. What? Okay. And also the slashing tires, stuff like that. So, apparently there's more than one person that talks about this. Stalk her. Put tracking devices on her car. Oh my God. She was even sleeping couch to couch, terrified of him finding and committing her again. So she's out here staying with friends, trying to dodge him so he doesn't throw her in the mental institution. From another friend, this is from another friend. Micah escaped John Paul in February 2024. Friends were hiding Micah. And if you watch her videos on her Facebook, you will see that she has had a lot of turmoil. Now she seems, sane and okay and positive, but you can tell that she's really struggling. She found out he was doing things with the money. From the church. And after that, he put her in a mental hospital again. When she got out, she told her friend, quote, "I am not mentally ill. I'm not sick. I don't want to harm myself, and he is going to make it look like I unalived myself," unquote. Or, no, he is going to try to frame me. One day, I know he's going to do it. Now we're unquote. The church is not listed with the Southern Baptist Convention, nor is it listed as a nonprofit. This could have been what Micah found out. He was committing tax fraud and had been for years. This past month, she started reconnecting with friends that JP had forced her to isolate. Hold on just a second. From one message. Hold on, let me. One message from Micah to a friend on April 5th, so that's just a few weeks ago, reads, "Thank you for your gentle warnings throughout the years regarding my relationship with JP. I know that you knew I wasn't ready to get out, but looking back, your warnings were very helpful when trying to make tough life decisions. Definitely have replayed our convos in my head over and over throughout the years and wished there was something I could do to get out, and now I've done it." Now, last night I showed you that actual text message. To give you an example of what this guy is like when he preaches, in February 2024, here's part of a sermon, you just heard it, of what he read aloud to his churchgoers. And it talks about she went to Africa and she came back. She wanted to start a school in Africa, which they did. And then 6 weeks ago, she goes to the hospital, gets out, and just leaves me, completely leaves me, drains our bank accounts. And I go, guess what? While you're talking bad at me, here I am doing this great and wonderful thing in Africa. Well, let me see. Go figure why she left him when she got out of the mental hospital. Probably because she was in a very good and positive state of mind and probably realized, I need to get out. I need to get out now. Okay. Let's see. Go on down. Then he continues to bash Micah, saying, "When my wife was in the hospital, I looked at her phone and counted over the past 2 years 18 people who had texted her and said, 'If you ever want to talk to someone about your husband, you can talk to me and I'll keep it confidential.' This made him visibly angry while on stage." Now, I don't know if these were men or women. I would assume a lot of them. If there's 18 people, I'm going to say most of them are women. Micah filed for divorce and protective order 48 hours before she was found dead. Whoa, what? Whoa, and a protective order. Okay, let me tell you something. You can't get a protective order unless someone has made you feel unsafe. I remember a few years ago when someone I knew had to get a protective order, and they had to explain to the police, to the judge, whatever, what exactly had happened and why she needed protection. And it was nothing like this, but still, it took a lot of, the judge has to sign off on it, okay? So you can't just go and say, oh, somebody threatened me. You have to have more details, more, great if you have a witness. The crime. In her final week, she made plans to get her hair cut, get help with her car payment because she was a little short after paying her divorce lawyer, and planned on meeting her friends at a church service Sunday, April 28th. On Saturday, April 27th, Micah left in her work uniform to work at J. Peters, a local restaurant. She never showed. Her body was discovered an hour and a half away in Lumberton, North Carolina. Her cause of death is a gunshot wound to the head. JP was not allowing her family to see her and was pushing for a quick cremation. That was denied, and the family has seen her. Wow. Wow. So you just want a quick cremation. My. Isn't that always a little sus? Let's get rid of all the evidence. That's what it sounds like to me. Hours later, her husband holds church service as a normal Sunday, April 29th. He has no remorse, emotion, and cracks jokes during his sermon. In the last 30 seconds of it, he says, basically, and we watched that announcement, he's going to take a little break, but y'all, don't stop coming and don't stop giving. Now, excuse me, but if my spouse, let's just say I didn't have the best relationship with my spouse, but your spouse has had a tragic, if this is true, and your spouse has unalived themselves, it is very horrifying. Even if you had nothing to do with it, it's traumatic, right? It's horrible. How could you get up and preach a sermon, act normal, but then you're saying, oh, don't quit giving, don't quit coming, because, if they're not coming, they're not giving, most likely. Let's throw that in there, because what's important, not Micah, not the family, not the devastation. It's like, y'all just keep on giving. Don't forget to do that now. Tell you, it makes me so sick. It makes me so sick to my stomach. All right. So let me go on. Okay, we did watch the video. 3 days later, her husband is seen and photographed at Coastal Grand Mall going into a sushi restaurant with his supposed girlfriend, Susie. We're going to learn about that in just a second. He is looking right into the camera. Now, those are the pictures I showed you last night. 4 days later, he is seen and photographed in a restaurant called King Street Grill with the same supposed girlfriend, Susie. She is looking at the camera with her eyebrows raised and her hand over her mouth. Both of those pictures I showed you last night. Again, Micah is not even in the ground. And you are out twice. Not once, but twice with another woman this week at dinner. Having a grand time, it seems. And what's weird to me is they knew, you can see on the pictures that I showed you yesterday, he obviously knows he's being photographed. Okay? She knows she's being photographed. She's got her hand over her mouth. Yeah, y'all still just cavorting in public like it's okay. What kind of world do you think we live in? Is there just no propriety anymore? I mean, maybe not. Maybe it's me. But I'm just saying, I think it's very suspicious that you want to cremate your wife and you want to go out and have dinner with another lady. 3 and 4 days later. On May 1st, JP informed a news outlet he could not do their scheduled interview as he was leaving town for a few days. Today, that was yesterday, May 3rd, the church had closed. Now, I saw they had said last night I heard somebody put in chat that the church was closed, but I didn't know if it was temporary. Apparently, this is permanently. Well, I hate it for the people that were sincere and that went there and will be hurt by this. Other than that, good. Sounds like it needed to. Now let's talk about Susie Skinner. This is the supposed, alleged girlfriend. Susie Skinner's husband's mysterious death. It was common knowledge that JP and Susie had been dating for a few years. They have been sharing food and blankets at soccer games, and they've been seen at the water park. Really? You're going to go to a water park, like half-dressed with the pastor? Who's married? In 2021, Susie's then-husband, who was paralyzed and lived his life in a wheelchair, drowned in a pool, and it was accidental. Yes, you read that right. Guess who preached? His name was Chris, I believe. Chris Skinner. Guess who preached his eulogy? Why? It was John Paul, who said what a wonderful, wonderful guy. I watched part of it. It is on YouTube. I think you can find it online. And I was just like, bleh. I wanted to vomit. All right. Wayne Miller. Let's see who this guy is. Wayne Miller. This is another mysterious death. Living in Myrtle Beach as well. Arrested for hooking up. Now, this is JP's dad, I believe. Arrested for hooking up with a minor in a shower. Molestation charges and... Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. And had the charges expunged. This was in the 90s. Well, it seems to be a family problem, doesn't it? He forced J-1 visa students who paid to trail to the U.S. to attend his Bible college. And we talked about this last night. He didn't pay them, even minimum wage. He didn't provide food and shelter. Oh, my God. All right. Oh, my goodness. I think I've got this all in here wrong. All right. Federal charges from ICE for abusing the immigrant students while they were with him. All right. He was exposed for lewd acts in Pakistan a few years back. What? Wow. He was living in a private society at the time called Eden Garden, which was full of younger boys. Well, now there's that. Remember, he has a history of SA. Jerry Savelle, who started a church in Pakistan that Wayne was associated with, passed away on April 14th, 2024, with no clear cause of death. What? I did hear that. I never really watched Jerry Savelle, but his name was familiar to me. In a video, you can see them talk about how Dr. Jerry Savelle didn't know all the legal things Wayne was doing and didn't realize what he was contributing to. Ooh. Also in Pakistan, he had a plan to make a false accusation in the Pakistan court system because he was about to get exposed for his relationship with men and all the SA he was committing there. Now, remember, in other countries, and I don't know how Pakistan is, but I'm assuming it's like that is a big no-no. Like, you don't have freedom to do anything like that. It's against the law, and they will probably unalive you. So he's over there in Pakistan running around with young boys, This is the dad. Which leads me to wonder what JP's home life was like growing up, especially, and we're going to read something else, especially since he was watching his dad be this pastor with all these connections and, all this kind of stuff, but knowing that his dad was someone completely different at home. And look, I'm going to tell you, that is not uncommon, okay? It should be for pastors, but it's not. All right. The allegations, we don't know what they were proven to be false by Pakistan court this past October. Okay. Then he had his male lover come to America with his Pakistan sister, and Troy, Wayne's friend, was the sponsor to marry the sister so they could come here. Okay, so, hey, if you will marry his sister, then he can come over here, my Pakistani lover. Just, look, I'm over it. I'm over it already. All right. Because remember, Wayne was married. He had a family. All right. It's not about who, it's the whole situation. And going over there and minors, I don't know if this lover from Pakistan was a minor at the time that he came over or at the time the relationship started, but clearly he likes to, take showers with children. Where did we hear that recently? If you know, you know. Okay. Let's see. An article about Troy from 2003 reads, a former Myrtle Beach area pastor is facing charges of being a chomo, basically. 32-year-old Robert Troy Taylor turned himself into Georgetown County authorities Saturday. He's the former pastor at Low Country Community Church at Murrells Inlet, just south of Myrtle Beach. All right. Now, this was apparently... What are they saying this is Taylor? He is... Let me keep going. They're talking about... Okay. The charges are reportedly connected to 2 incidents with 12-year-old boys for more... Hold on. Okay. JP's older son, he has a history. Okay, is it JP's? JP's older son, how old is his older son? Has a history of domestic abuse. Somebody did put that in my chat last night, but is he old enough? I guess he is. He has a history of domestic abuse against his wife and served time for hitting her over the head with a glass bottle in January 2024. My. What a violent family you are. All right, so there is a hashtag Justice for Micah on Facebook, and you can see a lot of stuff on there. And like I said, there are new Facebook groups coming up for that. All right, let me get back to where I can see what y'all are saying. How long they had been separated? I believe it was just in February. It wasn't like she tried to get away. She actually tried to get away in October, but you'll see some more stuff about that. Let's see. Hello, Tanya Stewart. Glad to have you here. All right. So let me go back to where... Let's go back to the next thing. Now, this, they said, was on the church website. Okay, you can see up here their logo at the top, that little orange circle. So this is what was on the church website, but it has since been taken down. And if the church is indeed closed, the whole thing might be down. I don't know. You got to get to stuff fast. But that's what's great about, the web sleuths. Y'all grab it really, really quick. So here is a history. I found this very interesting. Pastor John Paul Miller spent his teenage years playing the piano in churches as well as nightclubs. Okay. Whatever. He thought church was for fake people who were one way in public and another way behind closed doors. Well, that, I'm not trying to show sympathy for JP, but let me do say that based on what we just read about his dad, what did I say? Yeah, that's what he probably thought. That's what he probably thought religion was, that the whole Christianity experience is it's a game. It's a social club. It's a game you play, and then, but nobody's really like that. People do whatever they want. People sin however they want at home. They just put up this front. See? So this is, wow, to put that on. The thing is to put that on the church website and everybody knows who your daddy is. Like, ooh, that's spicy. One day in his mid-20s, he gave his life to Jesus Christ. In 2006, John Paul stepped out in faith and started his first church, Solid Rock Ministries, in the Socasti Library. I don't know. I'm probably killing that one. His first sermon was 6 minutes long because he only knew one scripture. Really? You've been in church all your life? You're in your 20s and you only know one scripture? I'm just saying. Whatever. His first congregation, but hey, you're trying. His first congregation was his family, a few friends, and several former drug-related acquaintances. Let's see. Pastor John Paul has been involved in the music department of churches all across the Grand Strand area before starting his new church, Solid Rock at Market Common. All right, so he had pastored there since 2016. PJP has 5 children, and then they name them. Married to his wife, Madison. I had heard her name was something different. I would love to know the whole story with his first wife. Who is married to his wife, Madison? Oh, wait, Logan. He has 5 children. Logan. Okay, sorry about that. I did find his first wife's name somewhere. Okay, so Logan, who is married to Madison. Sorry. All right, then he has the rest of them. So is it Logan that they're talking about in that last article about hitting his wife over the head with a wine bottle? Woo! PJP and his wife, Micah, have a heart to love God and love people. Yeah. That's wonderful. But I wanted to read that because I thought it was a very interesting thing to put. So I think he was really like dissing his dad in this. Because, he knew exactly, he had to approve this to be on the church website, right? His bio. Very interesting. Now I've seen this pop up a bunch of places. Now this says... This is apparently there are groups and websites and stuff in different areas. Are we dating the same guy? Okay, and that was started from people who, like some females started. This is in different places. So we're talking about in Myrtle Beach, in that area. And obviously, you can tell by the bottom half of his face, this is him. And it says John Paul or goes by JP. She's asking about, like, are we dating the same guy? Is he a player? Like, who is this guy? And she says, we align religiously, so I like that. I just wanted to make sure, though, as we've been chatting. So wait a second, JP. You've got a wife. You've got a girlfriend, but you're looking for another girlfriend. You're chatting up somebody else. Wow. You get around, JP. You're busy. All right. This one I also found from Reddit. This is Dry Maximum 5985. From my deep dive on social media, just reading through posts from people who knew her or went to Solid Rock, he also left his previous wife to be with Micah after grooming her since the age of 14 and waiting until she was of legal age to bring their relationship to light. I kept wondering why an entire congregation could watch something like that happen and still support. But apparently, Mr. Sir owns the church and the land the church is on, and attempts to have him removed failed each time. The congregation has changed regularly throughout the years when another scandal or distasteful situation happened with JP. People would leave the church, but then more would just come. And look, that happens. I noticed the church removed the couple's wedding video documentation from their Facebook page, and the Solid Rock website removed the bio photo of Pastor John Paul on their staff page. Additionally, the local newspaper in Lumberton, where Micah was found, originally had an article detailing the tragedy yesterday, but that has since been removed, and there's no mention of Micah or the case at all on their site, anywhere at all. He's disgusting. I hope justice is quick. So wait a second. The newspaper had an article, but then they removed it? Can you do that? Like, it's an event. I guess you can, but that was the beautiful thing about having newspapers on actual paper, because somebody's going to have that. Now you can digitally, and we've seen that in other crime cases, like stuff that people had in the beginning of the case. Unless you downloaded it and you've got a copy of it, a lot of times stuff is scrubbed from media. I have seen that very, very much in the Delphi case. All right, so yeah. So what they're saying is that, JP apparently got in a lot of trouble a lot of times. This wasn't new. It wasn't unheard of. All right? This is something that he was known for, but what happens, and I have personally witnessed it in churches, there's a big scandal, somebody's having an affair and blah, blah, blah. And then, most of the church leaves, at least half of them. And, it goes through a slump for a while. And then new people come in and they don't know. They don't know what happened. And then if they do happen to question, those supporters will say, oh, that was just a lie. That was just a lie. They were just making that up, right? Am I still here? Okay. Yeah. Hi, Watha. So the churches there seem to diddle with minors and abuse wives, along with having relationships on the side. Yeah, apparently. You know what? It's becoming so common. I'm not even shocked. And I hate to say that, but I am not even shocked when something like this happens. I'm just like, well, there's another one. There's another fake somebody. All right, so here is, I want you to see this one. This is tomorrow morning, Sunday, May 5th, from 9 to 11. They are having I believe this is actually labeled as a protest. It's called Justice for Micah. You can find this on Facebook, but this is going to be, in case you haven't seen it, it is going to be at the Solid Rock at Market Common. I guess they're going to be outside the church, and it gives the address, 803 Howard Avenue in Myrtle Beach. I honestly, really, sincerely wish I could go to this. But I will tell you this. I was watching JLR Investigates this morning, and he said he is going to go. And so I guess he'll be live streaming it, and it will be live stream on Facebook. I will not be able to even be online at that time tomorrow. Which I hate, but I will, I'm interested to see what's going to happen, what's going to come out, It's all crazy. All right, now, let me read the black part of this first, because the top is a reply to it. So they're talking about, how about I rode up to a Solid Rock at Market Commons, and there's a U-Haul parked out by the school entrance. I asked a gentleman who was carrying stuff out, loading the U-Haul, if they were moving. He asked me what. I asked again, are you moving? He turned around and started moving quicker to move stuff out of the building. Seems kind of suspicious to me. Just FYI, there is a U-Haul parked out by the entrance to Faith First Academy, which is attached to Solid Rock, and they are loading the U-Haul with stuff. The update by Kyler Marlowe this morning was the people associated with the school were the ones moving their stuff out since they are cutting ties with the church. And he was saying, somebody drive over there and record it. I hope they did. Really hope they did. All right. Let me... let me get rid of that. All right. Yeah. So that's the latest, y'all. Apparently the church, I don't know, I don't know if that closing is going to be temporary or permanent. I guess it depends on a couple of things. First of all, if JP owns the land and the church, they're probably going to have to take their congregation and literally move. And probably start it under another name. It's probably going to be a whole redo if he owns the church, because there's no saving that. All right. I'm going to be very, very interested to know if JP is going to face charges. Hello, I can't say that. Combat vet. Good to see you. Yeah, so, I wanted to catch you up because there's so much, it's coming out so quick. But here's the thing. When you have, all right, sometimes people are misaligned, or maligned. That's the word, maligned. Yoli, you might have to help me with that. But, some people are accused falsely, all right? And in a case like this, family, tempers, emotions are high. But when you have so many people coming out now and giving specific details, I hope they really look into the death of Chris Skinner. I really, really do. It gives me those whole weird vibes, the Daybell Vallow, fiasco. But yeah, I have to wonder what all we're going to find out. And, can you imagine all this stuff coming out about your dad, about you? But there's still no excuse, right? There's no excuse for this. And, I hope that we can put enough pressure on, social media, with social media, just for people to keep asking questions, keep digging, because yes, he is officially under investigation. And again, I want to see what happens, what they rule her death to be, because clearly he wanted to cremate her right away. Yes, John Morgan, it does. If we find out he has, all this other stuff, man, that Vallow Daybell case was off the charts insane. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, so what do you think? Put it in the comments below. Do you think that he is 100% guilty? Like I said, someone is unalived and, you're immediately wanting to cremate them. I'm like, no. There's just too much. And I feel sorry for the kids involved. But again, I think putting this guy, if he is guilty of what it seems to be, when you have people saying that Micah knew what was going on with church funds, and you see the history of his dad, remember Wayne? Oh, Wayne likes to get people over here from another country, on missionaries, whatever, bring them over here. You don't really even pay them minimum wage. You don't take care of their food, shelter, anything like that. They're basically slaves for you, right? So this is what he's doing with church funds. So the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, in my opinion. And if that is true, and she would know, really, how is he paying for all these dates with these other women? Is it by church funds? So now are you using church funds for adultery? Certainly would not be the first case of that happening ever. But yeah, it sounds, it's horrific. And bless Micah's, heart. I can't imagine what she went through. Yes, I agree, Yoli. He does. Not just narcissistic. He does sound like a sociopath. That is my opinion as well. So I'm going to ask you again to, hit the like button, but share on any, like your anybody who's interested in true crime or stuff that follows that on your personal Facebooks or whatever. Share the message. Let people know. Hashtag it, Justice for Micah. And I mean, we're going to be looking into this. I'm so excited that people are beginning to speak, because this is going to be very important. And if all of this stuff is true, because right now it's allegedly, right? I have to say it's allegedly, and it's my opinion. But if all this turns out to be true, he needs to be behind bars. There doesn't ever need to be another Micah Miller who has to live through this situation. Yeah, that's what we saw, that John Morgan, his new girlfriend's husband, unalived himself 3 years ago. Yeah, I want to hear more details on that. And y'all, if you have any more details on the marriage to his first wife or anything like that, I would love to know, because apparently the church, as you saw that, the church watched him, develop a thing for this 14-year-old girl when he was 28 and married with kids, groom her, cheat on his wife with her, and then he marries her later on. Wow. At that point, I don't know. At that point, well, they probably did try to shut the church down, but if he owns it and he owns the property, then there you go. All right. I don't think, unless there is any other breaking news on this or something else tonight, I probably will not be on later. I'm going to try to catch up tomorrow. Again, it's going to give me all night and half of tomorrow to look and see what is developing. Want to watch the vigil. The protest or whatever they're going to do at Solid Rock Church, 9 a.m. Don't forget, it's going to be on Facebook Live. If you are not on Facebook, JLR Investigates is supposed to. He said he's going to be driving up there, and he is going to be live there as well. So, I mean, there's, more than one way to watch it. I would love to watch it. I'm going to have to watch it on the replay, though. Anyway, also, we'll be updating Karen Reed, Sebastian Rogers, Riley Strain, probably not tomorrow, but another day, soon. Anyway, y'all, if you have any videos, anything that you really want me to talk about and cover, you can email me at silkyandSouthern@gmail.com, or you can go on. I do have a Facebook page. It's very tiny, but it's Silky Southern Tea. You can message me there or on Messenger. I would love to hear all the stuff that y'all find. Okay, and we'll talk about it in a little while. Tomorrow we'll update again. I'm sure there'll be some more stuff. Anyway, in the meantime, y'all be safe. Whatever you do, just stay silky. All right.